Getting here with another episode for you guys. This one, you guys have seen it before. This thing, my manga journal. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is actually having a manga journal. What's in mine, and, should you have one, should you not have one? And as you can see, we're kind of in the middle of the desk. Don't worry though, because I know I showed you guys on one of the last videos why I wasn't necessarily filming at the desk just yet. I moved some stuff out of the way, put some other stuff back over on the shelves and whatnot, but there's still stuff, don't worry about it, right here, and right here, and there's like 7 big piles around me, 8 big piles, so, some that I haven't even started yet, so good night, Pun Pun. Anyway, hopping back into this, because all that stuff also pertains to the manga reading journal and whatnot. So I have some that are already in here, which is what I kind of wanted to accomplish before I actually filmed this. I know when I showed it to you guys, obviously I could have started it then, but how was I actually going to show you guys anything if I had put anything into it? So I've been reading for roughly a week, going on 2 weeks. So 2 weekends ago, one solid week, yeah, and then going into this week. So I have a good chunk of ones right now. So we'll just go over what I've had so far. So, Entangled with You, Garden of 100 Grasses, one, Song of Spider So What, Volume 8, Nicola Travels Demon World 1 and 2, Zozo Zombie, Volume 2, so, Song of Spider So What, Volume 9, and Volume 10, and 11, forgot I read that many back to back. Beastars 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I took a break, so I didn't read 7 yet. Shibuya Goldfish 1, 2, 3 and 4 done, but they're later on. I actually just finished those today. Detroit Metal City 2, Remonster 6, Call Girl in Another World Volume 1, so we are short, I think, like 1 or 2 from hitting 20 volumes, maybe, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Some of these I don't have filled out yet, but I have start dates for most of these. I have finish dates, I have who the publisher is, volume, if there's a volume or not, I have a author, artist, most of the time that's the same thing, what year it's printed, the title of it, and then a rating score up to like 5, and a review, which all that stuff takes about 4 or 5 lines, and then the review, so it still gives me, a good chunk of stuff. Here's one I haven't done yet. If you guys can see that, I have it in there. Maybe I write really light, because it's hard to see this. Can you guys see that now? And, some of these I don't have filled out all the way just yet, but then I have little descriptions. Sometimes it goes in there whenever really I thought about the thing or whatnot, if I want to do a review or something else. That's another thing I can kind of translate over from the page. I can kind of go back and reread some of this stuff and say, yeah, I think I'm going to sit there and basically like do a first impressions video or a manga review or something like that towards that extent for that stuff. I decided to keep it though because I like the idea of having one, but some of the other journals that I have / have seen, I don't really like them, so that's why I bought that one and I could fill it out how I wanted to. I'm not putting stickers everywhere on it or anything, to each their own on that though. But I have it filled out exactly like what it is that I want to have in it. I also have like my start finish date, so it also tells me like what days, how many books I've read. Averaging about 2 to 3 usually, which is another good thing that I kind of wanted to know, because before I was consuming some books so much that I was doing 12 a day. Most of those were like shonen series though, so maybe if I get some of those I can kind of do the same thing. Maybe I can read 13 in a day. Who knows? And we're not talking about the weekend. We're talking about like, hey, I'm at my job and reading. So there's that there. But I also started it because I wanted to be able to go back and kind of see like what I thought about a series and whatnot, see how it kind of grew. Did I enjoy it more? Different things like that. Nicola Travels the Demon World pretty much started off pretty well, but I have one other one in here. I started it and I thought it was just kind of crap. Detroit Metal City is one of those. I enjoy it, but it's not enough. I don't think it's enough for me to throw high scores at it. But Zozo Zombie was a 2. It's meant for kids, I already started buying it, but it wasn't like that great. Nicola, I gave a 4 to, and Entangled with You, I give it 2. And my reasons why, like Entangled with You, I put in there that basically on that creator's kind of like BL series and whatnot, it doesn't actually ever seem like there's that much of a difference. It doesn't actually seem like you're getting something else. It seems like it's the same set of short stories that you're going to get in another book published by them. And at some points, even though that was a new book I bought, when I bought it, it still seemed remotely enough like part of the other books that I read before. So a big thing that went into the score of that was take it or leave it. Am I going to read that series and say, hey, yeah, I enjoyed it. It had a uniqueness to it, kind of like having a difference between like Naruto and One Piece or Bleach or something like that. There is, even though they're all basically like shonen battle manga, they are at different times different because of what the subject matter and whatnot is. This one, just how a bunch of those are lined out for BL series that are like that. They don't seem like they're going anywhere per se. Like we get a love story, but it's all kind of the same. You could take that book and we could basically cut it and take one of I thought I had a bigger one, but this is Juji Ito's Censor. But we could take one of these and probably about the size of Uzumaki, which is obviously one of his renowned books. It's about the size of 2 of these ones though. If we took one of those and put both of them together, that would give us enough room, I think, for the 3 books of that BL genre kind of by the same person that we could just throw together and they would seem exactly the same. Not only that, but there's more renditions. While I do like a good love story, I also have come to the realization that I didn't fully understand BL as BL until I read some of these other ones. And to find out that basically BL isn't necessarily a romantic relationship. It could be like Otaku Mike's relationship with me. Mike saying, hey, Jen is like my unrequited lover or whatever. That kind of is a BL story in and of itself. And it doesn't really seem like it makes a lot of sense. That's the problem I feel like in that we have, is it doesn't make a lot of sense in the aspect of it could just be a really good friendship. If you could tell or have like strong feelings towards your friend and say, hey, like, you're my brother or something like that. I feel like that's kind of a thing with BL. So I don't know. I don't feel like wholesomely I'm a BL man, but I do love a good love story. But you know, there's never, it seems like, enough meat on those for me to really enjoy them as much as I would like to. So I hope that some of the other stories I have that lean a little towards BL or have maybe one of those relationships in it will give me kind of more of a story that I can enjoy and kind of grow with, instead of just like here, this is everything in your face at once, and go from there. But don't let me tell you that by myself. There are other people out there. Comment down below that can say that, you know, do some BLs kind of feel like they're running together, or is there a difference of stuff for any of that? Getting back to part of the journal, that is kind of another thing that I was able to do, because not only did I just have to read whatever I read, but doing the review part, I also had to think about it and regurgitate part of what I understood it as to put it in there. And going back and reading some of that stuff, like I said with the BL one, it actually made me think about it more. These are questions that floated around in my head while I was reading the series and whatnot, you know, and going from there. There are some other ones that I wrote in there where I didn't even reach the bottom of the page because I didn't have a lot of questions. I knew what was happening, and most of the stuff with that, it ended up saying, okay, well, I got enough of the story, but I had to wait to read to the next one or the next book before it kind of like sealed the deal for me on that, before it actually gave me some other information that I needed to enjoy this one. You know, there's other stuff in there like that for that book. Now, would I recommend people having a manga journal? Yes, I would highly recommend it. I think it helps, especially if you are like a manga tuber or a manga grammer and you're going to write a review for something or whatever, because you do have to go back and basically be honest with yourself and regurgitate part of that information. Because if you just took the back of the book or whatever and you're like, yeah, you know, this explains it all, that's not so much in your words or anything for you to understand what you got out of it versus what somebody else could get out of it. And I think in that aspect, really having the honesty aspect and having somebody listen to your review of whatever it is that you covered. I had another hair dye. I didn't know what it was. But being honest with that and whatnot actually makes it more enjoyable to watch somebody that does that and know, hey, you know, this is what they thought about it, and they had to go back and regurgitate the story and whatnot. They had to go back and know a little more about what it was to understand and go from there. You know, and this is something that I had to also do with the Otakuology podcast. Most of the things I can read once and I regurgitate it. For Mike, it's a completely different story. If we go more than like 3 days of whatever, Mike has to reread the story. He has to reread the chapter. He has to reread whatever it is to refresh himself on that. And, I mean, it's totally a different thing. Now, in the same example as that, even though I'm doing one, if Mike had one, I feel like it would be a lot better in that sense, because while he's writing down stuff and he can write down his own questions out of it and things like that, it would help so he wouldn't have to go back and read it for the show. But yeah, not only that, it also lets me kind of keep track of a timeline. I do like knowing, like, when I'm reading, like, So I'm a Spider, So What? Was it printed in this year? How many printings did they have that year of other books? Like, did we have 9 and 10 come out in 1 year? Or do we just have 9 come out 1 year and then 10 come out 1 year? these things are very beneficial, especially when I told you guys that I had made the Excel spreadsheet to let me know what I have, because then out of that stuff I can go back and double check and say, hey, yeah, I show that I've had this one that I've read, and there's one that comes out every year. There's two that come out every year. Shonen Battle manga, there could be 4, 5, 6 that come out in 1 year. That is just something that, personally for me, putting the year print on it lets you know that. You know how many approximately could come out of that book. While I believe that most of the ones that I am reading or have read are already complete, or I just have to pick up the rest, or they're complete and I already have them, I can go back and double check and see, hey, will we have more, and whatnot. Kind of like see and double check and see how everything kind of like fit together, how it kind of went through in waves of what was going to come out. So, yeah, is there more you can do in the journal? Sure. Like I said, I hate D&D character sheets. I hate certain things like that stuff. I hate other certain like helper things, calendars, things like that, where it assumes that you're going to know what you want and tries to give you all this other stuff. But for me, like I said before, knowing exactly how it works for me, knowing how it works for you, we have two different products of how it is. Like I said, mine doesn't have stickers and isn't like frou-frou or anything else like that. I don't have these things. I don't go in and color stuff on the pages and have these big elaborate designs and stuff that I colored, or pictures and stuff that I posted. I just want these raw things and materials for mine to cover for me. Other people could be an entire notebook. Each page, or in between each page, could have things that are multiple layers, so that you have it and the book is like creased open this much because, hey, there's actually like a drink coaster or something in there that matched what it could be for this character's coffee drink that they had, or they had drank that one time. So it really goes with what it is. So I posted it in the book, things like that. There are plenty of things that you can do with a lot of that stuff. Yeah, and let it work for you. I mean, manga journaling, especially after you read, I don't really think has any harm of it. Especially for most people, because with most people, I think that we do turn around and forget very easily. Not a lot of people can sit there and regurgitate enough like how I do sometimes, and it'll be, hey, that's pretty good. I can't believe you remember that. Has it been a year since you read that series? No, it's been 12. That's just how shit happens sometimes. But, yeah, manga journaling, do I think it's cool? Yes. Do I think people should do it? Yes, I do. Do I think it's beneficial? Yes, I will sign off on that. I think it is very beneficial to go back to do some other things. Is it necessary? No, it's not. But I do think that there is a lot of good stuff that can come out of it. And like I said, I always have something there that lets me kind of go back and look at it. And not only that, but it also tells me like what some of the last books are that I've read. So while I don't have Soma Spider So What Volume 11, when that one comes out, I can go refer back to the book and say, yeah, I've read up to Volume 10. I'm good to go for 11. Let me buy that one. Especially if I remember and say, hey, I haven't finished that one yet. I need to keep going. Oh, yeah, I have this Juji Ito book. Take that out, what I have left. So, I mean, we have a lot of stuff. I'm just saying, we have a lot of stuff there for all of us to be able to enjoy and read this stuff and have a way to chart it. part of the journey. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a fun time kind of listening to this. Let me know if you start a manga journal. Let me know what you put into your manga journal. Like I said, I'm different. My calendars have stickers all over. My manga journal, none at all. And other things I draw little weird pictures in. So it all just depends on what it is. So anyway, but as always, I will see you next Tuesday. Stay tuned for more great stuff. We will be back with Otakuology soon as well. Stay tuned for that. And of course, I don't know where I was going with that, but of course. See you next Tuesday. Have a great time reading, I guess. See you. Oh, and let me know about your manga journals and what you've done to them. Did you pimp them out? Pimp out my journal. That's what people would do.